Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 7 kiddos. We were previously in public school, and this is our 4th, coming up on 5th year. This next school year will be our 5th year homeschooling. So I wanted to start doing these videos on curriculum picks and what I am doing. And how I normally do this is I will take each grade level and do an individual grade level. I do not do individual and then family style and then family subjects as in 2 separate videos. I just go grade by grade, and I typically go from oldest to youngest. I don't have any of the physical things with me yet, and so I am going to just do, I'm going to list everything and tell you what all I am doing for each grade level, and then link it down below. And then as I get these curriculum pieces in, I will do flip throughs on things that I think people might want to see. A lot of this stuff is the same curriculum companies, but I am obviously doing a different level, and a lot of times each level, with each level comes a lot more stuff, and so especially getting into the older grades. So today I am going to just tell you what we are going to be using for our incoming 8th grader. Now I had to kind of do a little bit of research on this, and really there are not that many videos. Like I said, I've said this so many times before, there are a dime a dozen of younger grade videos and preschool and such, but when it comes to middle school and upper middle school and going into high school, you really have to search for a lot of these videos. And so I kind of was trying to see if there was anything that I needed to do for 8th grade to kind of as a precursor to 9th grade and starting high school. There really wasn't, unless I wanted to do like foreign language or something, which I have kind of looked into, which I will talk about in a second. But I think for the most part, we are still good to go with our traditional curriculum, and I don't need anything too specific. However, I have also mentioned that I look at the ISD, the local ISD website, and see what they are learning at this time in this grade. And I do that with all my kids, and then kind of go from there and see what can I do that is comparable to what they are learning curriculum wise, even if I don't use the exact same curriculum. So let me start with math for our incoming 8th grader. We tried this year to do mathusee. This was our first year doing that. We are going to continue on with that. This year he has done pre-algebra, and going into 8th grade, he would be doing algebra 1. He has done great with this curriculum. It comes with the CD. I do not get the manipulatives. I have not needed those, but I kind of determine that on a year-by-year basis because there might be a point where I do need them. But he does well without them. That really isn't his learning style, so to speak. And so he has done good without the manipulatives, just using the DVD and my help. I'm relatively good at pre-algebra and algebra. It's geometry that I'm like, oh my gosh, you are going to need that DVD. So anyway, we are going to continue on with mathusee. We are going to be using the algebra 1 going into 8th grade. So when I get that in, I will do a flip through of that. How I do my curriculum, like I said, is sometimes I will buy my curriculum by grade level, say, okay, what does this child need? And then buy them all together. Or I will go, okay, what do I need from The Good and the Beautiful? And I will purchase everything. What do I need from Christian books? I will purchase everything. What do I need from Amazon? And I'll purchase everything. So it kind of just depends. But mathusee I typically get from Christian books. The Good and the Beautiful language arts. That is what we have been using the last, is it 2 years maybe? I think this is our 2nd year of using The Good and the Beautiful language arts. Language arts was one of those things that I struggled trying to find a curriculum. I at first tried to do it on my own, and that was not good. So I quickly discovered The Good and the Beautiful and really enjoy that curriculum. And they do very well with it. And so that is what we're going to be using. The eighth grade language arts level is book studies. We have 3 books, I think, one of which we already have actually, but I didn't know when I bought it that it was going to be as a book study in 8th grade. And that one I looked to see because I wasn't sure, is this going to be enough for him? But there is grammar mixed in with that. There is writing mixed in with that. There is like a separate little, like, I think grammar and writing thing that you can get to. And so it kind of helps to develop this kind of more independent aspect of language arts. And I think it's going to be really good. I was hesitant at first because I wasn't sure, like I said, if it was going to be enough, but with further research, it is. I'm excited to do that. They do have high school courses, so from there we will go on to high school, but it is not the typical language arts curriculum that he has been using, that they use from, I don't know, kindergarten first to 7th grade. So from kindergarten to 7th grade. So I am going to go ahead and get that. I think he is going to do really well with that. He loves to read. I don't even have to force him to read. That is what he does on his own time. And so I think that's going to be very good for him to do the book studies. Vocabulary, we use Wordly Wise, and Wordly Wise goes all the way up through, I think it is 12th grade. And so I am going to continue with that. They have learned so much vocabulary from there and words that literally I do not even know that I have not heard of. And he will just randomly use these words, and it's been great. So we are going to use Wordly Wise for vocabulary. As we get into high school, I'm going to reevaluate. That is another thing that I looked into. Do we need to start looking at PSAT words or any kind of specific SAT books or PSAT books, that kind of stuff with more intense vocabulary? But I think for now this is going to work. So I'm going to continue to use the Wordly Wise vocabulary, and I think it's going to be good for him. Handwriting, this was 7th grade was, we have been using the Good and the Beautiful handwriting. 7th grade was the last level, or level 7 was the last level. And I don't think he needs any more practice. I think this is a good stopping point. If there is anything that I feel like, hey, we should work on your cursive or whatnot. He has very good penmanship. He knows cursive. He can write in cursive. So I think this is a good stopping point. I feel like at this point it would just be busy work. So if that's something that he needed to do, and I felt like, you need to work on your handwriting a little more, I'll just pull some things, some free online sheets or whatever, and do it that way. But we will not be continuing with handwriting for him. History I have looked into on the ISD website. They would be learning U.S. history from beginning to up to 1870 something. And so that is what I'm going to be using. I have looked into those curriculum. What do I use? What can I use? What is going to be good for him and actually my incoming 5th grader. I have been able to bundle them together as far with history, and that has worked really well. With the research, I have found that I really liked the layout and the colors and the pictures and the just the format of the Notgrass America the Beautiful. It goes from beginning to 1877. That is something I will get off. I think Christian Books is typically where I get that. I have gotten their geography from there as well, the 50 states, which I will also be kind of incorporating into that. We have kind of been lax about that this year when I wanted to kind of pick back up, and just because of, I don't know, life. And so that is one of my goals, and that was kind of my goal for this semester too, was to kind of pick back up on these things that we left off. But I am going to use that. I am excited to use that and dive into that. They enjoy me reading to them. I like it to be more of a family type subject. And so that has worked well with using Studies Weekly this year. And so not only is it just good time, for time purposes, but I enjoy reading to them, and I enjoy getting their questions and their feedback and stuff like that. So it's worked well for us. So that is what we are going to use for history. I have looked into Spanish. He thought about Spanish. I asked him, do you want to do German or Spanish? Although I have French on my side, and that's what I took in high school. But he said Spanish, and so that's fine. I think that would probably be an easier. My husband did German, I did French, and then he wants to do Spanish, which is fine. But I think that we are probably going to push that. I'm not going to focus on that too much this year. I had looked at Duolingo. I think that's how you say it, Duolingo. I had looked at some workbooks, but the problem with just workbooks is that I'm not familiar with Spanish, and so I don't know. I need somebody to tell me how it's pronounced correctly. So I don't just want to do workbook style and assume that I'm saying it correctly, or assume that they're saying it correctly and it not be right. So I want something. I have watched some videos on the comparison between Rosetta Stone and Duolingo, and I think Duolingo, they have a free version, but I think the paid version would be worth it. Like a monthly subscription. But I might start in that. I will let you know if I decide to do that. I might start that. I'm just not positive if that's what I want to do yet, because he doesn't have to do that yet. And so I don't really want to focus too much on that if I'm having trouble keeping up with all the other stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'm not positive. Science, he does not need anything specific for science this year. There's no physics, there's no biology, anything like that. We will get to that in 9th grade. So I think for this coming year, we will continue to do, I have not been good with keeping up on the unit studies this year. And so I am going to really, really put my energy into that this coming year, because I think it is important, and my kids love science, and I just have kind of put it to the back burner because, like I have said before, my main focus is language arts and math and handwriting and vocabulary, those kind of core subjects, and then the rest just kind of, okay, if we have time. And I'm not a strict scheduler with homeschooling. I just want to make sure we get the main stuff done, and then, if we have time, let's go ahead and read a lesson of history. Let's go ahead and read a lesson of, do a lesson of science. And I want to be more intentional about that, because I think it's important. And even though it's not like a main subject, I still want to focus on that. And I think the science units are very exciting. I think they are reformatting their, how their layouts in the science, if I didn't say it already, the Good and the Beautiful science units, that's what we use. And so I still have some left over from this past year that I was planning on using and just didn't get around to. We were going to do birds. I was going to start birds actually when we went to Colorado last summer, because I was going to try and do it as a summer thing, and we just didn't get around to it. And so I'm going to use that one. I know. I think, is it botany? I believe is one that we started, but we didn't complete. I don't even know if we made it halfway through, honestly. And then I can't remember if I have another one. I know I want to do marine biology because my oldest daughter loves marine biology. And I believe I think there's a paleontology one coming out. I'm not sure, but I need to look and see. But I think they are making it into their binding is going to change some, and they're going to have science journals that you can purchase with that. So that makes a big difference. So I've just got to look, but I will let you know the units that I intend to use. I would probably say, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 science units for the year. But my oldest, going into 8th, is still able to do these science units because we are not getting into any specific science courses yet. So I'm going to use that to my advantage, use that for my older 2 at least. I will get to my younger ones when I do those videos as far as what I plan on using. I'm not as concerned, or as, I don't want to say strict, but I'm not as intentional with them doing science as I am with my older ones doing science. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Health that I've mentioned, I will continue using the books. I will link the video for the book that I originally bought. I also need to do a video on the book that I actually am using prior to that one. It is kind of a precursor, more of your body changing and things like that, and then leading into more kind of specific in-depth things. I know The Good and the Beautiful has a health unit for older grades, which I think I will probably purchase, not quite yet for my second kiddo who will be going into 5th grade, but probably for my 8th grader, because I think that is going to be a good resource, and I really want it presented in a Christian perspective. So I think that is going to be a good choice. That will probably be what is considered health. I am not too concerned with, you know, anything else as far as exercising, things like that. They get all of that, PE and all that. They do get all of that through their extracurriculars, just by far. So I think that is it. If I'm trying to remember anything else, I have some like elective things. You know, as we get into high school, I'm gonna have to start picking electives. I need to look more into that, and then a fine arts and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be kind of a struggle to try and piece everything together. But as far as 8th grade, we are still in that that realm of middle school and of not necessarily needing any specific courses yet. And there's really nothing I need to do. I think we are still good with what we are using, and I still have a little bit of wiggle room for what he learns and stuff. So as we get into high school, it'll be more of, okay, this is the subject that I need to do. What are my curriculum choices? What are my curriculum company choices? I tend to gear more towards the Christian-based curriculums, and that's not necessarily a make or break. I have said before that I am really kind of both secular and non-secular, because my kids went to public school, and so it's kind of whatever I feel like their learning style goes best with. And it's just so happened that a lot of these curriculum pieces that they are doing good with are more Christian based. So I tend to do that. But you know, when it gets to that point, I will say, okay, here is biology. I need to do biology. What are my options? But for now, we're good with what we're doing. So let me know if you have any questions about any of these things. Like I said, I will do a flip through when I get these in. And I have started to order, but obviously I don't have anything in yet. But I wanted to list what I was going to do, so in case any of you are looking, and I will link everything down below. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.